Reboots, remakes. Throw a dart into the 80s and you'll probably hit a film that has been remade in some way. Sometimes to success, sometimes with failure. What about those films that don't necessarily need remaking but maybe reimagining? What if you remade an idea instead? Hi there, I'm Sam Connery, a writer for JUMPCUT Online. Today we're going to look at two movies that you may not know are actually related. Now, if you're a fan of action, B-movie cinema, or just Jason Statham himself, you've probably already seen the brilliant Crank movies directed by Mark Neveldine and Brian Taylor. However, did you know that Crank is actually a reimagining of a 1950s noir called D.O.A? With most remakes, in my opinion, I find that most of them miss the point of what made the original work, or they fail to bring something new to the table with the original property. I'm not against remakes. Actually, one of my favourite movies is in fact a remake, and I have a soft spot for some of the less received ones too. Sometimes, amongst the sea of movies out there, comes a movie that takes a concept or an idea and repurposes it to spark something fresh. Crank is a ballsy, extreme and in-your-face experience that is kinetic from the moment Chev Chelios leaves his apartment. The narrative forces this sense of movement and constant risk. The film doesn't pull any punches and commits 100% to its absurd, oddball video game style. On the other side of the coin is D.O.A from 1950. Directed by Rudolph Maté, the film shares the same sense of frantic pacing that Crank employs, albeit not as violent. Considered a classic in the noir genre, D.O.A stood out because of how fast-paced and relenting it was amongst more traditional, steady-paced thriller stories. Now you're probably wondering what these two films actually share in common. In D.O.A, Frank Bigelow is poisoned by an unknown foe, giving him just 24 hours to solve the mystery of his own murder. Sounds familiar, right? In Crank, professional hitman Chev Chelios is poisoned by a gang rival, Ricky Verona, as a form of gangland retaliation for failing to carry out a hit. D.O.A opts for a mystery-oriented premise, while Crank opts for a run-and-gun revenge story instead. D.O.A still holds up for its, at the time, innovative filming techniques and impressive plotting in the noir genre, so it's not as if the idea was being remade for the sake of quality. Instead, Neveldine and Taylor saw an opportunity to modernise an idea with a fantastic athlete in the centre of it. Crank is a showcase for Jason Statham's unwavering commitment to wild premises and brutal stunt work that has a place and isn't just for the sake of showboating. Each fight or insane situation is a result of these directors taking the idea from D.O.A and retrofitting it to be a frenetic blood race. The original idea has been re-explored to create something completely new from the ground up and different from it in tone, approach and execution. While Crank isn't going to win any awards anytime soon, I see it as a great example of what imagining an idea instead of remaking it can be like. Are there any films you wish would get the same kind of treatment or deserve to be given another shot? Once again, I am Sam Connery for JUMPCUT Online. Thank you for watching.